In the heart of the ancient Mali Empire, there lived a queen named Kurika. She was a ruler of great wisdom and strength, celebrated throughout the land for her just decisions and the prosperity she brought to her people. Her kingdom flourished, her subjects were happy, and her granaries were always full. Yet, despite all her blessings, Queen Kurika carried a strange and heavy burden. She could not cry. Not a single tear had ever fallen from her eyes. When she was a child and scraped her knee, she felt the sting but shed no tears. When her favorite pet, a clever little mongoose, passed away, her heart ached with sadness, but her eyes remained dry. Even at the grand funeral of her father, the beloved old king, while the entire kingdom wept rivers of sorrow, Kurika stood stoic and tearless, her grief trapped deep inside her like a bird in a golden cage. As she grew into a woman and a queen, this inability to cry began to trouble her. She felt everything a person should feel: anger, love, and profound sorrow, but the release of tears was denied to her. It made her feel disconnected, as if she were observing life through a thick pane of glass. Her counselors would tell her stories of heartbreak, and she would feel the pain in her chest, but her face remained a calm, unreadable mask. Her people, while they respected her, began to whisper. They called her the Stone Queen, or the Queen with a Heart of Iron. They could understand how a ruler could feel their struggles if she could uneven shed a tear for her own. One day an old woman, a griot whose memory held the history of 1,000 years, came to the palace. Her face was a beautiful map of wrinkles, and her eyes held the wisdom of the baobab tree. She approached Queen Kurika, who sat on her throne, looking as regal and distant as ever. The old griot bowed low and said, "Oh, great queen, I have heard the whispers of the wind and the concerns of your people. They say your heart is a fortress that no sorrow can breach. Is it true that the gift of tears has been denied to you?" Kurika nodded, her voice barely a whisper. "It is true, wise one, I feel sorrow, I feel pain, but my eyes are like a desert in the dry season. They will not give water." The griot smiled gently. "Tears are not just water, Your Majesty. They are the river that carries away our deepest grief. Without them, the sorrow builds a dam in the soul. But there is a legend, a story of a magical bird known as the Sunweaver. It is said that its song is so beautiful and so heart-wrenching that it can make even the stones weep. Its tears are said to be liquid sunlight, capable of melting the hardest of hearts. A spark of hope ignited within the queen. "Where can I find this bird?" she asked, her voice filled with a desperate longing. "The Sunweaver," the griot explained, "lives at the very top of the highest peak of the Hombori Mountains, a place where the earth almost touches the sky. But the journey is perilous. The path is guarded by mischievous spirits, and the mountain itself tests the will of all who dare to climb it. You must go alone, and you must carry nothing but the weight of your own unspoken sorrows." Determined, Queen Kurika decided she would undertake this quest. She shed her royal robes, her heavy gold jewelry, and her crown. Dressed in the simple cotton clothes of a common traveler, She left her palace under the cover of night, telling no one but her most trusted advisor where she was going. The journey to the Hombori Mountains was long and arduous. She walked through dense forests where the shadows played tricks on her eyes, and mischievous Jinn whispered her deepest fears into the rustling leaves. She crossed wide, rushing rivers, feeling the powerful current try to pull her under. She traversed vast sun-scorched plains where the heat made the air shimmer and dance. Throughout it all, she carried the memories of every sadness she had ever known, every loss she had never been able to mourn. The weight was immense. Finally, after many weeks, she reached the foothills of the Great Hombori Mountains. Their jagged peaks clawed at the clouds, looking more formidable than any army she had ever faced. Taking a deep breath, she began to climb. The path was steep and treacherous. Sharp rocks cut at her hands and feet, and the wind howled around her like a hungry wolf. As she climbed higher, the air grew thin, and each step became a struggle. The spirits of the mountain began their tests. One appeared as her late father, his face filled with disappointment, asking why she had never wept for him. Her heart twisted in agony, but she pushed onward, whispering, "I am going to find my tears for you, Father." Another spirit took the form of a starving child, representing all the suffering in her kingdom that she felt powerless to stop. The image was so painful it nearly broke her resolve, but she gritted her teeth and continued her ascent, her unspoken grief fueling her determination. After days of climbing, exhausted and battered, she finally reached the summit. There, perched on the highest branch of a gnarled ancient tree, was a bird unlike any she had ever seen. Its feathers shimmered with all the colors of the sunrise: gold, orange, pink, and purple. It was the Sunweaver. As Kurika collapsed at the base of the tree, the bird opened its beak. It didn't chirp or sing a simple melody. Instead, a sound poured forth that was the very essence of existence. It was a song of birth and death, of love found and lost, of breathtaking joy and unbearable sorrow. The song wove through the air, telling the story of the universe, of every creature's struggle and triumph. The music wrapped around Queen Kurika's heart. It found the dam of unshed grief that had been built up inside her for so many years. The song spoke of her father's passing, her pet's loyalty, the child's scraped knee, and the silent burdens of her people. It gave voice to every pain she had ever suppressed. And then, something miraculous happened. A warmth spread across her face. A single hot tear escaped her eye and traced a path down her dusty cheek. It was followed by another and another, until a quiet stream became a flowing river. She wasn't sobbing loudly or wailing. She was crying with a profound, silent release. The dam had broken. The Sunweaver's song softened, and the bird flew down from the tree. It landed gently on her shoulder and touched its beak to her cheek, drinking one of her tears. As it did, the tear shone with the light of the sun. The bird then sang a final soft note and flew away, disappearing into the vast blue sky. Queen Kurika sat there for a long time, feeling the cleansing power of her tears. She felt lighter, as if a great mountain had been lifted from her soul. The world around her seemed brighter, the colors more vibrant. She was no longer watching life through glass. She was a part of it. The journey back to her kingdom was different. The path seemed less treacherous, the world less hostile. When she arrived at the palace, her people barely recognized her at first. Her face, once a stoic mask, was now soft and open. Her eyes, once dry and distant, now held a deep, compassionate light. From that day on, Queen Karika ruled with even greater wisdom. But now it was tempered with a profound empathy that everyone could feel. She laughed more freely, and when sorrow touched her kingdom, she wept alongside her people. They no longer called her the Stone Queen, they called her Karika, the queen who feels, the queen with a heart of water, and her reign was remembered not just for its prosperity, but for its immense and beautiful humanity. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of Malian folklore. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales from around the world. Until next time, may your stories be rich and your heart be open.